Sebastian Vettel is one of the greatest Formula 1 drivers of all time. And even after he's given so much to the sport, he wants to give a little more. There have long been rumours of his return after retirement to a different role in the sport, something suiting his obvious political talents. He dislikes the FIA too much to work there, but Red Bull apparently have the perfect role for him. So why are Red Bull moving to snap up Seb after his retirement? And what do they want to do with him? Let's check it out. Sebastian Vettel retired from Formula 1 after 15 years at the recent Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But the German star was hinting at a new role in Formula 1 before then. In fact, back in November, Red Bull said they were open to him returning to the team he won 4 World Drivers' Championships for. Vettel said farewell to the sport at the end of this season, retiring from his career as a racer to spend more time with family and pursue other passions. Red Bull have already brought back one of their former stars since the season has ended. Daniel Ricciardo has signed back with his old team after being left without a race seat for 2023, and will act as Red Bull's third driver for next season, while also lending a hand with some promotional work. It is hoped that role will be a temporary one, with the Aussie still keen on continuing his F1 career. Vettel, however, is done with racing in the sport, but Red Bull advisor Dr. Helmut Marko believes there is a chance he could return to his old team in the future in a management role. "We have 2 teams, so we are open to that," said the Austrian, when responding to a question on that very topic. Marko added with a chuckle, "His life will definitely be different from the one he had as a driver. He'd come to work early, leave later, and receive only a small part of a pilot's salary." As an advisor to Red Bull and the head of the team's incredibly successful driver development program, Helmut probably knows a thing or two about how long the days can get. His management experience in driver development means he's in the perfect position to see talent that can be exploited. And clearly, he's seen something in Vettel. Vettel has been careful not to commit to anything in the future after he announced his retirement. The one thing he has been clear about is that his days taking part in a full season calendar are over. But he did say he would seriously consider getting back into an F1 cockpit for one specific reason. Maybe one of the F1 drivers in the future will feel sick. I don't wish for them to feel so, but I wouldn't mind jumping back in for a race at Suzuka at any time, he said in October. The Japanese Grand Prix circuit is his favourite, he admitted. "We'll see what the future brings. At the moment, I have no plans. If anybody is happy to sign up a driver for a single race, it's something I'd seriously consider. I don't know, never say never. I mean, it's a great track for many reasons. Who knows what the future brings? I don't know." Seb might not know what the future brings, but Christian Horner certainly seems to have an idea of where he'd like to see his former golden boy. Horner believes that Formula 1 driver counsellor Sebastian Vettel could become a manager in the mould of Helmut Marko should he wish. Seb might be unsure as to what he wants to do in his retirement, beyond spending time with his family, but he has been touted as a potential replacement as head of the famed Red Bull program, should Marko elect to step aside. Considering Marko will be turning 80 in April of 2023, he might feel it is time to take a break. Horner believes the annoyingly good Vettel would be perfectly suited to such a role in the future. He's a great people person, and he understands the value of people and the contribution that they make to success, Horner explained to the media. He's turned into something of a driver counsellor in the last couple of years as well. It really depends on what he wishes to apply himself to. He's one of those guys that's annoyingly good at anything he chooses to do, so I'm sure if he chose that path, he'd be very good at it. Vettel's final F1 boss, Mike Crack of Aston Martin, also weighed in on his future, believing that he has the personality and all the human skills needed should he want to commit to such a role. Daniel Ricciardo is one of those drivers that Seb has helped, especially during the Australians' challenging 2022 season. Ricciardo revealed that Sebastian Vettel frequently called him during his struggles in the 2022 season. Ricciardo said that as his struggles with McLaren only got worse, despite being a rival driver, Vettel was one to check in on the Australian. He's picked up the phone multiple times this year and just been a friend, and just showing care and just checking in as a true friend will do, Ricciardo said. To have friends like that is so important, but it's also not that common in terms of on the grid. We get on with drivers and you do build friendships, but to have that deeper level of friendship, some gestures he made this year and some of the kindness he showed towards me was, in a way, unexpected. But just super nice. Ricciardo's traumatic year reached a low point during the summer break when rumours began to swirl that he was about to be replaced by fellow Australian Oscar Piastri. That news was eventually confirmed, and Ricciardo said he received frequent calls from the Aston Martin man. Obviously, it had a bit more emphasis around the time of all the contract stuff happening, when there was a lot of noise, Ricciardo said. I don't want to single him out because it was some other drivers, but he was the one that was certainly picking up the phone pretty often and checking in. On a personal level, some of the things that he's done for me, just very, very appreciative of, he said. These are the kind of skills that would make Seb the perfect man manager for a team like Red Bull, that are renowned for bringing through some of the sport's best talents. Vettel clearly understands the rigors of modern F1. The hyper-attentive media that inspect every second of your time at a race weekend, looking for anything to make a story on, must be exhausting for new drivers and very unsettling. Seb can help coach them through that. In addition, he's obviously an incredible driver and will be able to hand down his skills to a new generation of potential world champions. The 35-year-old may have called time on his Formula 1 racing career after 15 years and 4 world championships, announcing himself as one of the sport's greatest ever drivers. While his time is over in F1, Vettel has implied that he could well switch codes to rally. A return to racing will come in January, with the Race of Champions returning to the Swedish snow and ice, an event Vettel competed in last year. When asked if he had his eyes on a potential category change, he said, "Naturally, you do look at other stuff. I quite look forward to the idea of nothing at first and then see what it does to me. There are lots of other things in my head as well, other interests and ideas outside racing. Obviously, I've done F1 for so long and it's central to my life, so it will be difficult to say I'm not going to miss it. But how much and whether I start to look at something else, we'll see. I always liked rallying, for some reason, but I can see it's a major challenge because it's so different to what we do in, let's say, classic circuit racing. If you've never watched a World Rally Championship highlights video on YouTube, then you need to go and do that straight after watching this video. If you thought Formula 1 was dangerous, then you're in for a shock. Vettel will have a lot to learn to get onto the level of the drivers of the WRC, but if he ever does, we will definitely be watching closely. Who doesn't want to watch Seb flying 40 meters through the air through the forest of Finland? If he decides to not race though, Seb will be the perfect addition to any team in a management role. Yuki Tsunoda is one driver that comes to mind that has apparently required a lot of mental coaching. Helmut Marko has spoken at length about helping Yuki to calm down during races after the young driver got a bit of a reputation for blowing up over the radio at his team. This is the kind of role that Seb would excel in. He's a far better driver than Helmut ever was though. Could you see Seb taking over from Helmut Marko in the near future? Or would you be more excited to see him tearing up rally stages? Let us know your thoughts down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.